So thank you for giving me a chance to speak. I'm still Russel Brand and want to talk about customer development, mainly customer discovery. The big thing here that I'm going to be talking about is focusing and knowing who your customer is, right? The whole world is not your customer. Whenever someone says, oh, we're going to sell to everyone, I like hide and run away. Need to be able to target who your customer is so that you can build something that they need, so you can find them, so you can get marketing. So this is the new short version of the talk, focusing on the last few years of what we've seen in FI. There is an old, longer version of the talk with the sort of problems people were hitting more a few years back, though I'll give a very fast version of that talk at the end. The new talk really focuses on Eric Ries's work from the Lean Startup. The old talk was more inspired by Jeffrey Moore's work. And we say that we should be so lucky as to get far enough to have the problems that Eric Moore talks about. So out of the whole world, there are people who just don't have the problem. They are not our customers, not unless we're going to trick them in some way or go out and give them the problem. Right? No problem means no need, means they're not our customers. The second is the people that, even though they have a problem, they don't know that they have it, right? My first business of selling Nemesis, meteorite, asteroid insurance to the dinosaurs didn't work because, the dinosaurs just didn't know that they had a problem with these asteroids coming. Then we've got the really big group, and these is sort of your health and wellness companies. Everyone knows that they're a couch potato, but no one actually cares. Get me some more popcorn. Then there are the couch potatoes that, they know they care, but, I don't care enough to get out of my couch and actually switch to a YouTube exercise channel, no less actually do the exercise. What you want is people who are actively seeking a solution. I should have known that the dinosaurs were not prospects for my service because none of them were actually Googling for Nemesis asteroid protection. But I didn't realize that no one was looking. And so, my business just didn't work. People that are working hard to find solutions or build solutions, the people who are putting something together with duct tape, they are the people who are the most desperate. They are the people who are the real early adopters. The next step above that, and this is the highest level where Rice says we should focus, is the people that not only actively trying to find a solution, but they've got budget, they got money to pay for it. If they, no matter how much they like it, if they're not ready to pay for it, they're not going to become customers. This is really very true when you're doing, business sales and SaaS sales. It's less true with individual consumers, probably untrue, as most of them wouldn't know what a budget was unless it came up and bit them. Of course, some of us are selling, even here, financial service education products, so maybe they can have a budget so that they can know they can't afford to buy whatever it is we're selling to them. So our sort of hierarchy, the people who have no problem at all, the people who don't know they have the problem, and my complaint historically has been that we can't sell it to them because they don't know. Next up is the ones who know but don't care but aren't actively seeking a solution. Right now, my criteria is you've got to have people that are actively seeking a solution. It's too expensive to come above the noise to find people who aren't actively seeking a solution. Better yet is actively trying a solution. And for business, you really want people with budget. The very long form of those 7 pieces is in Blanc's 4 Steps to the Epiphany. So people who are actively seeking a solution are easy to find and they're easy to talk to. If no one wants to sit down for an interview, if you got to pay people $25 to be interviewed, it's not a good sign, because if no one cares enough to talk to you about the problem, probably no one wants to give you money to get a solution. So I figure that people who are actively seeking solutions, they look on Google, Reddit, Quora. So I go onto these sites and I look for a solution. And if I find lots of people complaining that they can't do this, that's good. By people offering advice, those are the opinion leaders that I'm going to try to recruit to bring information, bring awareness to my potential customers. If I don't find anything under lots of different assumed accounts, I post everywhere saying, does anyone know how to solve this? And if I get a lot of, me too, I've been trying to solve that for years. Oh, if only I could solve that, my life would be better. I've now found early adopters and people to interview. And if no one bothers to answer my questions on these things, again, it's a bad sign. I wonder whether I've got any sort of a customer base at all. And I think about pivoting early rather than dying late. Now for the fast version of the old talk, right? The biggest risk for any project is that no one cares. No matter how well you build it, there's no one who wants to buy it. Depending upon how you measure this, this is perhaps 90% of all failures and pivots. And that's the same whether you're a tiny company or whether you're a massive company with a market research budget. Procter & Gamble may be the best in the world at this, and still half of them fail because they build things, launch things, and no one cares. Interviewing customers is hard. A Survey Monkey form trying to quantify things before you've qualified things is a waste of time. You gotta talk to people one-on-one, whether that's phone, whether that's Zoom, whether that's coffee shops. You can't outsource this to anyone else. You as the founder need the insight from this. The key questions you're asking is, what are you doing now about the problem? And if they're not doing anything and not bitching about it, it's a bad sign. And the second is, where does it fit in the priorities? You know, how much do you care? Lots of things are, oh, it would be nice, but they don't care enough to actually like unwrap a box or install an app or figure out the instructions. 3, when you're interviewing, don't believe what they're telling you because people try to be nice. True story, the Walkman. Walkman was an early, call it an iPod, but it used cassette tapes. It was the first such device that just has headphones rather than speakers. Sony ran these huge focus groups and said, what color do you want it to be? And the dominant answer was orange. And Sony thanked everyone at the end of the focus group and said, well, we're so glad you helped us. There's a stack of these on the table. Please take one as our gift. And all the black ones got grabbed and all the orange ones left behind. And Sony launched in black and black and silver and did very well. I don't know that they would have done too well in orange. 4th, people think about competitors. The issue isn't competitors. The issue is alternatives. Once a year in the US, every year, handkerchiefs and ball-peen hammers directly compete for market share, although there isn't seemingly a task they both do. Right, every Father's Day, these are good choice gifts, and we've got every teenager deciding which of these things to give to me. If you only think of competitors and not alternatives, then you're not understanding your customer. 5, when you are talking, you are not the hero. Your product is not the hero. Your company is not the hero. Your job is to make your customer the hero. You're going to let that account executive close 5 more sales. You're going to let that father build the treehouse. If you can make the customer the hero, then he becomes a customer, and he talks about what he's done, and he brings publicity to what you were doing and attention, and gives you a net promoter score, a positive infinity. We need to be humble. We are, we are arms merchants. We are Yoda to Luke Skywalker. We make our customer heroes. We are not ourselves heroes. 6, traction is a very, very particular thing. Usually our progression of customers is we've got the desperate people and our friends. They're guinea pigs or alpha testers. They'll put up with anything that doesn't work because either they like us or they really need a solution. Great stuff to have, valuable, 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 not traction. The second is the huge companies that were able to get to try it or pilot or even buy it because our brother-in-law's niece's dog walker's hairdresser is the daughter of the CEO or something. Great reference accounts, builds credibility in the world, worth getting, but it's not traction. The only thing that is traction is customers you can get through a normal pipeline and repeatable process. If I hand you money and you can't easily turn the money into more customers, it's not traction. It may be useful, it may be market validation, but it's not traction. Getting your patent filed is not traction. Graduating FI is not traction. All those things are progress and valuable. The only thing that counts as traction is something where I can repeat it, add more money, get more customers. 7, if you're not making consumer sales, you're probably going to be running pilots. Everyone is excited about whether it's a paid pilot. In terms of eventual adoption, it doesn't matter whether it's a paid pilot. The amount of time and attention a company is putting into this thing is more valuable than any money they're going to give you. There are lots of companies that do paid pilots on everything in the space just as part of awareness. What matters is that there's a success criteria and you know what that success criteria is. You want to be able to say, if I achieve this, will you deploy to your entire pan-galactic organization? If you don't have a success criteria, then you don't know whether you're doing the right things. If they can't give you a success criteria, then they probably can't actually deploy it. You should think of what you're doing as a demo and not a pilot. If you have a success criteria, you have a good chance of getting rollout. If you don't, you're just doing a very time-consuming demo. 8, especially true in the corporate IT space. I want this. I wanted it last year and the year before that, and I'm going to want it every year until I retire. But this quarter and next quarter, there are higher priorities, things that are going to take budget and attention. So it's not just enough for a corporate client to want it. They have to want it now or next quarter. If they're thinking about it any later than next quarter, it's unlikely to ever happen. 9, there are different types of customers. There are lots of folks that make freemium products and they think the free version has 4 pages and the cheap version has 7 and the enterprise version has 5 million. That's not the way you make an enterprise sale. The enterprise people don't just need more of whatever. They need access control. They need logging. They need a customer support number. And most of all, they need to give you a lot of money because they're spending a lot of money to train and deploy it. They have to believe that you're going to be around and they're going to be able to handle their calls. If you don't charge them enough money, they can't believe that. The biggest value I've added to SaaS companies is to get them to increase their pricing and add lots of these little, I call them frills, but they're necessary for the companies. And sometimes in order to get a sale, they've needed to raise their price 100-fold while spending 1 weekend to build features that they would never think of as important because they don't think about enterprise customers. Final point. if you don't have real proof you have customers, you have a very strong chance of wasting your time. What got me to change this talk is I helped a company shut down that had spent fully 20 years of their life building a wonderful, wonderful product that no one wanted. And I'd like that to not happen to anyone else. Prove to me, prove to yourself that there are customers. If you don't know there are customers, anything else you're doing is premature and has a large chance of being a waste of your time. So that is my world of customer development. Thank you for your attention.